So there's quite a few things that actually make people happy, and driving a car like Bob is definitely one of them. Bob is a little rascal. Owning a car like a Mini, like a classic Mini, is like being in a love and hate relationship, so to speak. There are days that everything just flows and life is, a jolly ride. And there are days that you actually want to set everything on fire and push the car towards the edge of a cliff and just give it a gentle push and be done with it. It's a car with a soul, and that soul is of a little rascal. At times it can be the soul of a little bastard. But it is what it is. It's my car and I love it. There's so many things about the car that I love. It's its shape, it's its size, it's the ingenuity of its design that it looks so tiny on the outside, and then you go in and you sit on the driver's seat and there's so much space in that car. It's a daily driver car, and it's not just one of those cars that you keep spotless, sparkling clean in your warehouse or your basement or even your living room for some people. This is a daily driver. It's actually a pretty decent car to own as a daily driver. It's so tiny that for someone living downtown Thessaloniki, where whoever is from Thessaloniki or from any major Greek city knows that parking is a huge issue, not when you have a Mini. You can actually literally park that car almost anywhere. It's a swift car, like it's not a fast car, but if you're a swift driver, that's the car to own. The Mini is a special car. It has a history of its own. It's an actual legend in automotive industry, and not just. It's so unique in so many ways, and it's almost impossible not to fall in love with it. I mean, there's this story, which I'm not really sure if it's a legend or not, that when Enzo Ferrari was invited for the test drive of the car, after having driven it, he got out of it and said, God, had it not been so ugly, I would have been so depressed. It's such a fun car to drive. It's such an interesting car to drive. It's impossible not to have a smile on your face while you're shifting gears and going through tight bends and corners in a classic Mini. The way the car drives is literally unbelievable. It handles so well, like really handles well. It's quite forgiving. Like you can actually mess about in a classic Mini, and the Mini will always have your back. Literally, it's a very safe car to drive. The only time that a Mini is actually not safe is when you're not in a Mini, when you're driving another car. There are very few cars out there today that will actually handle the way a Mini does. It's like so many people say the same thing, and I will repeat by saying it's a go-kart with a license to drive on public roads. It's incredible. The catch to all that is that if you actually want a car like a classic Mini to be a daily driver, to be a reliable daily driver, you need to be someone who really knows his ways around that car. Back in the days, having a reliable car actually meant that you had a car that was reliable enough, and the guy driving the car was the missing piece of the puzzle in actually completing the sentence of the car is reliable. I am a mechanical engineer, so I'm pretty good with understanding how cars work. I know what cars need, and I'm pretty good with my hands. So I'm the one actually repairing the car, servicing the car, fixing it when it breaks down, and there really is no other way going about that. It is reliable. I can only recall of 2 instances that I actually got stranded on the side of the road, but then again, being an old car, free of all those electronic sensors, gadgets, gizmos, whatever new cars have, you can actually service and fix that car on the side of the road, and you can actually do that with very, very simple and basic things. Mechanics in their shops will not really take care of your car the way you will. They do not love the car the way you do, they do not know the car the way you do, because actually each and every one of those cars has its own special character which you're acquainted to. So I know Bob's tricks and perks and, you know, his moods and whether he's running alright and something wrong with him. I've grown to actually realize and respond to every little noise, rattle, shake and squeak the car might make, so I can be one step ahead of a potential failure, for example. I spend a lot of time like referring to manuals and going online on forums and stuff looking for information, because lovable as Bob may be, the Mini is not an easy car to work on. Everything's like so crammed inside, there's very little space in the engine bay, and there's quite a few things that could possibly go wrong with it, so you need to be really, really patient when servicing that car. It really makes you feel great. It's being in that car, listening to its engine, having the window down and the wind basically blowing on your face, and you're driving on some old like mountainous country road, whatever, with bends and turns and corners, and that smile on my face. One of the things that really bothers me with new cars, and the reason why I actually choose to drive an old one, is because modern cars that are full of safety features and advanced technology and gadgets and sensors and assist systems of whatever nature, they are actually not just deprived of the fun of driving, they're degraded to being transportation tools. They're just things on wheels that will take you from point A to point B, and there's no fun in between those 2 points. Now, on the other hand, driving an old car, a classic car, whatever that might be, brings back the joy in the process of driving. And Bob is all about that. Back in the days, every brand, every car out there had something special about it. There was a specific reason why people bought specific brands of cars, because they were not just buying 4 wheels and a chassis, they were buying a character. They were buying a friend, they were buying a girlfriend for a lot of people. But in the end of it, they were all getting their fix. It's probably the best psychotherapy you can have is by driving an old car like that. I can't imagine myself owning another car. A lot of times people ask me, what's your favorite car? What's the car you'd like to own? And my response to that is, I actually own the car that I love, and I love the car that I own. He's a buddy, he's a friend, he's a relationship in a sense. So if you love Bob, Bob will love you back. Most of the days, that is.